Oh, yeah. All right. All right, guys. Unicorn farts?
Yeah. Little
Nice.
bare-handed.
All right. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Welcome to another edition of Bro-ish, Two Brothers Talking Notre Dame Football. I'm your host, Mannix, joined by my brother, Clutch.
What up?
Drinking a unicorn fart. Where Bruce at?
Duclaw.
Duclaw.
New Jersey.
Nice.
So it says. I did not remember them being in New Jersey though, but what it is.
Mm-hmm. All right. Notre Dame played Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Came away with a 31-13 victory over the Yellow Jackets. What seemed to be, in the beginning, just kind of typical Notre Dame. Or at least for the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
I think.
Started off like that, yeah.
Yeah, where they start off slow. Or they start off and make a couple mistakes or whatever. This time being Riley Leonard throwing the cannonball. That was a hell of a throw. Like I was surprised that he threw it that far, actually.
That bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's watch that. Let's just segue right into that, because I've got a problem with who's the guy that he used to do the old NCAA football game. I don't remember whoever did the color commentary, the ex-player. He said Bo Nix gave up on the play. Let's watch that, because I don't agree with that.
I disagree. I think go ahead. We'll watch this.
Captain who needs to play big.
Here's the live play.
Play action. Leonard. He wants the home run ball and overthrows his intended receiver into an interception.
I've gone about
going to run it back. Could have been a touchback.
Editing this up so we can go in slow mo.
Out close to the 30-yard line.
Oh yeah. He says he outran. He gave up on the play, but let's look at where Riley Leonard is and where Bo Collins is when he lets us go. He lets us go almost at the 50. And as you'll see, I'll pause it right here. There's Bo Collins. Bo Nix. Bo Collins.
No, Bo Collins.
Bo Nix is the quarterback. He's at the 25. Okay. He's got a guy in front of him. So why would you throw it that deep? I would throw it short to him. He's got a defender in front of him, and that's not the defender that actually intercepts it. So you're telling me he gave up on the play? Yeah, he gave up on the play because he knew
there was no way he was getting it.
Riley Leonard had a dick up his ass and fucking threw it on a bomb to the end zone. Now listen to what he says.
You see Riley Leonard. He's going to try and hit Bo Collins down the middle of the field, but Bo Collins stops running. You see there, he basically quits on the route.
No.
He did not
quit on the route. Riley Leonard overthrew that ball, and hey,
like by a bunch.
That was probably a good 45 to 48 yard throw. I mean,
it was
good. Hey, I mean, he let it go and he aired it out. That's great. I mean, he threw it downfield. Just overthrew him by 10 yards.
I agree. And that's something we haven't seen lately is him throwing deep.
So what happens? I think Notre Dame, that was the second possession, right? The first possession, I think they went 3 and out. So that possession right there, so the second possession. So when they started the third possession after Georgia Tech scores the first touchdown, Georgia Tech goes up 7-0. So Notre Dame is once again trailing, and they kind of do this. It wasn't really a hurry up offense, but a really fast paced tempo they had going, and they had a lot of slants, which they were hitting on, and it happened to be that I think whether it was either Love that was out of the backfield, you're running the ball, or Jadarian Price, or Chris Mitchell, whoever it was, they were getting an extra 2 or 3 yards after they caught the pass or after they ran the ball. So the effort was there, and I think Riley Leonard summed it up well after it must have been the post-game press conference when he said, I need to stick to the game plan, or at least I need to stick to what the defense is showing me. And that's exactly right. And I think it started coming together, and they actually drove the field, and what a surprise, Riley Leonard ran it in. You had texted right after that, we got all these running backs and good running backs, and we use our quarterback to run it in. But you know what? He's a big body dude, and he seems to know how to run the ball when in short yard situations.
Yeah.
And at the 1 yard, he got stopped the first at least try, and then did it again on third down, and got the touchdown. And then he ran another touchdown in for, I don't even know, it was like, that was at about almost 20 yards or just less than 20 yards. Nice run again. He was 20 of 29 for 203 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns thrown. But again, pretty balanced with the rushing game, as Jadarian Price led the way with 69 yards, and then Riley Leonard was second with 51 with 2 touchdowns, and then Jeremiah Love with 36 and a touchdown.
But look at the number of carries that Riley had. He had 10 carries.
10 carries.
Jadarian Price led the way with yards at 8, but only had 8 carries, and then Love had 14 carries. And it's like well balanced with a quarterback in the middle of it.
We got it, and we have to accept the fact that we have a running quarterback, and that is going to be part of the game plan in these next, with 5 games left now, and I'm not sure if we'll make the playoffs, because this has been the is this the second straight week that we have stayed stagnant, or at least I know we switched spots in both polls. But this time, again, we just stayed stagnant, and it pisses me off, and I'll tell you why, Clutch. Looking at the team that jumped them, at least in the AP poll, was BYU. BYU ended up playing a 3-3 Oklahoma State team at their home field, and they won by 3 points. I don't get that. Notre Dame goes on the road against Georgia Tech, who's 5-1, way better record than 3-3. And they end up annihilating them 31-13. I mean, it was 31-7, and Georgia Tech scored that late touchdown. So garbage time. But again, I don't understand. I think we're still getting punished for losing to Northern Illinois, even though I believe we are a better team. The defense has proved, after losing Benjamin Morrison, and they've had two freshmen step up. One being, is it Leonard Moore or something like that? I forget his name. There's a couple of freshmen that stepped up, and they played awesome. And Notre Dame, they are the most blitzing team, I think, in the country. I think they blitz somewhere near 47% of the time, and that's what they did. They just put pressure on that quarterback.
Dude,
hopefully that was the backup too.
Broken.
Oh, dude,
and
he was broken.
He couldn't get up. I don't know what was wrong with him. I was watching the highlights before we got on here for the podcast, and there was one point where he was struggling. Yeah, but he did that dude, last time he went to get up, he got hit on the other side. I don't know what was wrong with him. He was just broken.
I mean, tough guy. What's his name? Zach Pyron. He was the backup quarterback. Their other quarterback,
he's already been broken.
Yeah, he's already been broken, but he couldn't play, and so in this Zach Pyron or whatever, he had a few starts already. So he's a veteran quarterback. I think he's a senior.
He only had 2 starts though prior to today, or that Saturday. He only had 2 starts, but played in several games as mop up time.
Yeah, but decent game, 269 yards, a touchdown. Well, 2 interceptions, but fact is that I give him credit, all the credit in the world. He played tough all the way down to until the end of the game, and obviously scored that touchdown. I thought his left shoulder was just hanging when he threw that touchdown. Anyways, I'm getting off onto a different path here, but I don't know. I just don't believe that you should be penalizing Notre Dame 5 games after they lost to Northern Illinois.
Nope.
And I understand it's a MAC team. I understand it was at home. But again, like Notre Dame definitely has one of the best defenses in the country. Even with all the injuries that we have, we've lost multiple defensive tackles, and we've lost obviously our starting cornerback, or starting probably All-American quarterback. You know, had he finished the year, and this is probably his last game. He's probably going to go on to the NFL, and but you know what? I mean, it makes way. It makes way for some of these new guys who I think look fantastic. And I told you last week, I don't think there was going to be, and there was a little bit, but I don't think there was going to be much of a difference with losing Benjamin Morrison. Not saying that, you know, he wasn't a, you know, very important part of this team. I just think that we really have talented freshmen defensive backs. So, but they're going to have to really get on their game to play the next game, which is Navy, and we'll talk about that soon. Clutch, what's your takeaway with this game? Watching the game, I know, you know, I know you have the Riley Leonard complaints pretty much every single game, but what did you see? You watched the recap again after watching the game yesterday. You know, what'd you see?
I think he's coming along. I think the team is coming along. It's very just, you know, getting up here and getting on the podcast after watching the Lions play. They're very Lions-esque a little bit. They're not quite as fancy, because I still think they need to put Tyler Buckner in there a little bit more, which we saw for a fake field goal.
Which was I wanted to mention that, because if you watch that play and then you look back at the roster, Notre Dame has a kicker who is also number 26.
Yeah.
And then you had Tyler Buckner, who was a placeholder.
Yeah, the Georgia Tech coach was pissed because he didn't understand what happened. And that there was, how could there be two number 26s?
Well, I mean, but there wasn't 2 26s on the same at the same time. I don't know.
No. Yeah.
Who was the kicker for that? That was
I don't know, some scrub. I still think he should be put in as a wide receiver occasionally. Just run a couple routes. Run a couple routes. He doesn't need to catch shit. Don't throw the ball fucking to him. And the fact that he's on the field starts to get mind numbing, to the point of where, now he's going to run an end around, catch the ball, and throw a bomb, which he's got the arm, and arguably he's got the accuracy. So throw him in. That's where I think that he could be dynamic. Don't fucking have him kneel down and catch a fucking punt and make him run. He's fast running too, but that worries me sometimes, because those fake punts are one thing. Fake field goals are fucking nasty, because you got to stand up and then fucking turn around and fucking make it around the end. So anyways, what I was saying though with Leonard, I still think there's an issue with going and getting a quarterback out of the transfer portal, because we wouldn't have lost to Northern Illinois if he didn't have this. It literally looks like a ramp up. You know, you could draw up, you know, a graph of how he did better as the season has gone on, and he did shitty early on, looking at his pass selection and interceptions and all that. And that was indicative of the Northern Illinois game for the most part. But I think they're coming on now, so that's important. Can they beat somebody in the playoffs? I think that might be possible. Their rushing and passing has been pretty even. This last game, it was 217 yards. I'm sorry, that was it's 217 yards passing and 168 yards rushing, where Georgia Tech was more one-sided on the passing side. So it's possible. So I'm over that a little bit. I want to see them get out of number 12 spot and move up a little bit, so they're not in this first team out scenario.
I don't think they should have remained stagnant today, and they should have jumped. They should at least went up one. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row now that we've beat some quality teams that we should have just at least moved up a little bit. And I still think we're just getting penalized. So moving on.
So just in contrast. So you're arguing about BYU winning by 3 at home against Oklahoma State, and they moved up 2. just in front of them in the same conference is Iowa State, who is also 7-0, who also won by 3 points
Yeah.
to UCF. Now, I don't know if that was home or away, and they dropped one spot.
So that game, UCF game, I think was at home. Let me just check this out here. But yeah, it was Iowa State, and they were losing towards the end of the game. They were actually trying to come back. So is that how they're moving teams up and down? It's the fact that, okay, you came back and didn't lose to an unranked team and only won by 3 at home to a team that was, again, Clutch, 3-3.
Yeah.
So again, what the fuck? I don't understand the point here. The point is that you're playing a very bland team at home. Both these teams, BYU and Iowa State, but now again, they're both undefeated teams. Right. Yeah, Iowa State and BYU are still undefeated, and they maintain their being undefeated by winning these games barely. However, Notre Dame they're winning by 15 points or more, and again, holding a team under 14 points for I don't know how many times. I think for at least 4 times this year already. So I don't know. We're getting screwed. Go ahead.
Well, and I was just going to point out too, Miami almost lost to Louisville. I was watching that game actually. They were stagnant. They didn't move up or down, but the fact that Louisville was handing it to them big time, and I was surprised they actually pulled that off. Louisville basically screwed that over on themselves, though. But
so I have a problem though, because I think if Notre Dame was number 1 and they played the number 5 team of Georgia, and Georgia ends up beating them by 15 points, I don't think Notre Dame just drops 1 spot to number 2. I think they fall down closer somewhere to 10, maybe 7 or 8. I think that's what happens.
Texas dropped 4. They were number 1. They dropped 4. You're looking from earlier when we were on the wrong sheet.
Was I on the wrong sheet?
Hold on. Earlier. Yeah, Georgia went up from 5 to 2.
Okay, so Texas, won. So they fell to 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. I think Texas looked like shit last night in their home stadium at night. I don't get that, because Texas, I thought between Texas and Oregon, I thought those were 2 of the top teams in the country. Penn State is still up there. Ohio State, now we're starting to get into the 1-loss teams. And then Miami, don't understand why Miami's sitting back at 6. If you know, I don't get it. I don't get the way the AP or the way the coaches poll ranks these teams. Hopefully, when the playoff rankings come out, things will be different. I did see a different poll today, an ESPN, I don't even know what the hell they call it, FBI or whatever, some sort of poll, and it had Notre Dame as, I think, 7th. So
yeah, and I mean, it's going to be weird because this next couple of weeks we're going to see some stuff, because obviously we got Navy and Army both undefeated, and Notre Dame's going to be playing them here in the next couple of weeks. You also have Illinois, who's showing some freaking promise, spanking U of M. Thank fucking God. Over the weekend, Pittsburgh's undefeated. They're 19th. I don't know why they're 19th, but they're down there. Boise State has that. I think it's Boise State that has that running back that's just like he's running for like 200 yards a freaking game or something like that. He's like, yeah, and he's 17th. They've lost 1 game. So there are a bunch of teams that are Indiana. There's the other one. Indiana's on our back door right now. They came up 3 spots. So there's a bunch of like hot teams right now, and I'm worried that Notre Dame's just going to sit there at 12. Like they got tent stakes in the ground, and everyone's going to be jumping over them, and behind them.
So here's another example. Missouri ends up coming back and beats Auburn, right? Auburn, probably not a great team this year. I don't think they are. We'll see what Auburn's record was. Looks like they
dropped 2.
So Auburn's record was they're 2-5. So terrible team. They were 3-4 yesterday when they played Missouri, right? Missouri's playing at home. Missouri comes back, right? They were down by a couple of scores. They come back with multiple quarterbacks, and they win the game to stay, to go 6-1. What did they do? Well, in the AP, they dropped 2 spots. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Going by your method of the fact that you're playing a shitty ass fucking team, and you still win. Why aren't you moving up?
Because Illinois beat Michigan, the last year's champion, which doesn't make any sense because they
and that doesn't make sense. Yeah, because Michigan sucks too. So it's just like I don't agree with any of these rankings whatsoever. I think they're bullshit.
Yeah.
It just pisses me
Boise
off.
State dropped 2 spots, and they were on bye week.
I know. I mean, come on. And they're supposed to be really good this year, and they are really good this year. So I don't get it. I don't get it, Clutch. I don't get it. But hopefully Notre Dame's still in a position. We're still, as long as we keep on winning. And so I think next weekend, playing Navy on the road again, which again, I don't know. I like the fact that they're better on the road. And I think it has to do with a lot of this. Notre Dame has a lot of this. It's the whole being at when they play at home, there's a lot of responsibilities. They have, family coming in. They have all these, things they have to do to get, to kind of like focus on or whatever, and then really truly focus on the game. When you're on the road, you're just focusing on the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have worry about. I mean, you might have family coming in here and there, but again, it's not like it is at home. And I just think they are better on the road. I think. I don't know, but
they're on the road this weekend because they play in New York or Minneapolis. They're playing somewhere like an independent space with Navy, aren't they?
Good question. Let's find.
Let's watch this Navy intro here. By the way, if you notice right here, I'm going to pause it. As you can see, my mouse over here. They've got the Navy guy that normally it's like a kid, but he's like launching the team off the fucking aircraft carrier deck. Isn't that funny? I thought that was really good. Like launch.
Oh man, Navy. I have no idea where this game is. It's not telling me. Notre Dame and Navy. Where is it at? It's not telling me anything. Clutch.
I'm looking.
Buy tickets. Navy Federal. No, they're playing at Navy. No.
Navy doesn't have a fucking.
No, they're playing
MetLife
at
Stadium.
MetLife in Jersey. They're playing in Jersey.
Yo, they're in Jersey where they got the.
They got Chris Christie's going to be there. Big old Chris
Coney Island. I got a Coney Island dog. Get some pizza pot pies and shit like that. Come over here and get some pizza pot pie and ride the Coney Island stuff. I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out.
I have no idea.
Detroit Lions.
What accent that was?
It's supposed to be New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. Come over here and get some Coney Island. Put some nice sausage chili on the top with some cheese, and you get some of that Coney Island over here. Come over here and ride the rides over here, Coney Island.
This is the game to watch, though. This is probably I would say this is besides Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. This is probably the next best game on their schedule, right? Everyone else is kind of falling apart. We've
Army.
I mean, Louisville, a little bit of Louisville, yeah.
Navy is not
Army.
Ranked
Navy, yeah.
Navy is ranked lower than Army.
Army is ranked. No.
Yeah, I'm looking at the AP poll right now. Navy is 24. Army is 23.
So that's the AP poll. What's the coach's poll?
Yeah, I don't know.
Coach's poll has Navy. Navy went up 4 spots. They weren't even ranked in the coach's poll last week. So they went 4 spots. They were 28th and they jumped to 24th. So
where's Army?
Army's 23rd. So they're a spot ahead of, and they went up 1 spot. So wow. I don't know. I thought it was the opposite. Huh.
Yeah, I would too. But here's the thing: is Navy is rolling people with bigs. Like they beat Charlotte 51-17. Their games are there's a big margin there every game, and I'm worried that they can put points on the board. Somebody said if you don't get out on Navy right off the bat, you're fucked, because they're going to just eat the clock with the run and then throw a deep bomb once in a while.
Scored 24 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, they were rocking it. Yeah, you got to get on it.
Now there's a team that was playing another 3-3 team at home, and they're 6-0, and they killed them 51-17, and they only came up 4 spots from 28th. They were not even, well, that was the coaches poll. I think they in the AP poll they just stayed the same, right? No, they went up one spot from 25th.
I'm gonna call the Navy game. I know we're not at the end of the program.
We're getting close.
Notre Dame's gonna lose to Navy. They're gonna learn their lesson, and then they're gonna beat Army. Is what's gonna happen. I just think they're gonna go in there and they're gonna know that Navy's good this year, and they're not gonna be prepared like they should be. They always have problems with the run, and they're gonna end up losing to Navy. The Navy's gonna get out too far in front of them, and they're gonna be struggling.
Navy has problems on third down. They were only 2 for 10 against Charlotte. So and
because they didn't need a lot of 10.
I guess punted 6 times. So they punted 6 times.
Oh, so maybe they did some defense. How did they score all those points then?
No interceptions. No. No, they did. Charlotte threw 4 interceptions, so it was mainly defense. So don't overlook the fact that, and look at these numbers, the total numbers here: 117 yards passing, not many. 171 yards rushing, so under 200 yards against Charlotte.
But so very, very balanced.
But balanced in a mediocre way, I guess. Let's look at when they played Air Force, just to get some team stats. 115 yards passing, so identical to Charlotte. 158 yards rushing. They're not putting up many yards at all. 273 yards is not a lot. 3 for 13 in third down efficiency against Air Force. 6 punts again. So again, they are having trouble moving the ball, it looks like, even though they beat Air Force 34-7. It looks like team stats. It looks like they didn't really defense wise. They didn't get any fumbles or any interceptions. So I don't know. Show me another team that they've played that. Maybe Memphis. Okay, Memphis. Actually, that was a game. 56-44. Memphis is 3-1. Team stats. 506. There we go. 566 total yards, 205 yards passing, 361 yards on the ground. Now that might be a shitty Memphis running defense. Third down, 3 for 6. So in the last couple of weeks, though, they haven't really played well. So I don't know. Clutch, what's your call? We got about a minute and a half left. What do you think? What you said they're going to lose? What's the score?
I'm going to say it's going to be weird. I don't know about this one. We'll say
music's creeping in. Music's creeping in. We're getting to the end of the show. Clutch, come on.
I'm going to say 27-30 Navy.
27-30.
Isn't that weird?
A little bit. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's going to be close. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on if Navy decides to, if they actually can increase their numbers. But I think Notre Dame's defense is going to put a stop to that. They're going to have less than 300 yards total offense, and Notre Dame wins handily. I think 49-14.
Wow. Okay.
That's it, guys. Thanks for joining us for another episode of We'll see you next week.